Building an indie business in the center of venture capital. I am Alex Edmonds. I am known as SupremeRumHam on the internet, and this is the Building an Indie Business podcast. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing digital art. I'm going to talk about what digital art is, how an artist can generate revenue, some revenue ideas I have, some questions I have about one of my ideas, revenue reducers, of course, expenses, my opinion. So yeah, let's get into it. So the reason why I wanted to start this one is because I got into some like Ethereum blockchain stuff and some art on the Ethereum blockchain. So the reason why people put their art on the Ethereum blockchain is for many reasons. The first one is historical prevalence. I think I said it right. And that means just there's a record of who owned it. So you know everyone who owned it and how much they paid, right? And then being on the blockchain, there can only be one, and that creates value knowing that this is the only copy of this piece of art released, right? What I really like about these Ethereum blockchain art places, websites, whatever, is that so in a regular art society, the artist auctions off their art once, and then someone buys it, and then they go and sell it like a year or more later. That artist doesn't get any part of that second transaction or the third one or the fourth one, right? But on the Ethereum blockchain, an artist will take 10% of every transaction because I guess historical prevalence, and they know it's just a cool feature, I guess. I'm not going to say anything else, right? And so the way you buy it on the Ethereum blockchain is the artist auctions it off. So they're the first one to sell it. And then people make their offers, and the artist will accept one of their offers. You can still see the art, but you see who owns it. And the person who owns it can do whatever they want with it. They don't have to keep it just as that PNG file. They can make it their logo. They can put it on a t-shirt. They can print it out and put it on frame it. So they can do whatever they want with it after. It's like anything else, right? You don't have to eat lemons. You can use them as bird food or something, right? The next way an artist can make money, generate revenue, is drop shipping. So drop shipping is selling a bunch of items. You list your art on a website, and then you choose which items that art can be sold as. So it can be a laptop cover, it can be a t-shirt, it can be a sticker, it can be a curtain. I've seen those types of things. And so the artist uploads their art and then chooses which ones they want to sell, or which products they want to sell. And then the service that they're on handles the shipping and the merchandise, like creating it, right? The artist doesn't have to do much. The artist gets to choose the percentage that they want to make on each item, but that percentage gets added to the expenses and the shipping and handling. So let's say it costs $15 to ship one t-shirt, and the artist wants to make $4 on that t-shirt. The price for that person, that consumer, is $19 instead of the $15, right? So yeah, that's one way. And then there's e-commerce. An artist can do an e-commerce store, and that would be their own store. They need to handle everything themselves, so they can create the t-shirts, put their own design on them, ship it out themselves, right? Or like hire a different service, a cheaper service, to handle all that stuff themselves. I know of some services that do that. They're just a third party for like creating products. So they would have to handle their own store, use something like Shopify, right? And then they're able to do digital and physical products instead of just digital, right? So there's that. Then there's commissions, which is custom art for a person or business. And like an artist can do a logo, or they could paint the wall for a company, things like that. And then a musician would like write jingles for a company. That'd be a commission too. Tutorials. So an artist can stream content on YouTube or Twitch to make some money, generate revenue. Right? They can create a course too. They can like teach people how to do art. A musician could teach guitar lessons or something like that to make some money, generate revenue. And then I wanted to talk about musicians specifically. So they get paid per stream. They put their music on like a streaming service. Let's just say YouTube, because that's what I already mentioned. And then YouTube will pay out these musicians per stream, but it's like 1 penny per stream. So you have to get 1,000 streams to make $1, right? So that's uncool, right? And then there is the fact that some people don't stream and they will purchase the album. So I bought Kid Cudi's album. I don't like to, specifically for him, because I know I'm gonna like his music, I just buy the album, and that way I'm able to listen to the music whenever I want, because I don't pay for a streaming service because I refuse to. And that I can't, like, without paying for most streaming services, you can't listen to it offline, and so I just buy the album. And I don't listen to a lot of music. I mostly listen to podcasts, right, as a podcaster. So I'm able to download those too when I don't want to use the internet. So yeah, that's why I don't use a streaming service. If not, I listen to it on YouTube. I don't know why I'm talking about my music habits. So yeah, anyways, so a musician can make money through streams, or they can make money through someone purchasing the album digitally. And then their merchandise. They could do the same thing as an artist and have someone make them a t-shirt and then sell that t-shirt, but they're able to sell it for like $25. They could do limited edition only for that album, right? Things like that. I just thought of that. So merchandise, and they could sell that merchandise at concerts, and they make money through concerts. This is why artists are struggling now through COVID because they can't have concerts, and that is their biggest moneymaker because they get 1 cent per stream. They have a song with 15 songs on the album. That's 15 cents a stream. Or they could pay $10. Someone could pay $10 for the album, and that would equal more money for the artist, right? But no one really buys albums anymore. And then they could sell merchandise, which is $20 per person, right? So that's $30 at the most. Or you can have a concert, and that concert would be $50 minimum. They choose the price, right? And even after all the kickbacks, that might be $20 per person. So that they make $50 on the person that buys the album, buys the merchandise, and goes to the concert. And that's $50 including expenses, right? So that's more money than anything else. And then they tour around to venues that have at least 1,000 seats, so that's $20,000. And then they do that every night for 6 months, right? Not every night, but 3 nights a week. So that's $60,000 in a weekend times 52, 60 times, dude, I can't do this right now. Okay, let's do it anyways. 60,000 times 50. Let's just say 50. That's $3 million for concerts, right? So that's where your money is as an artist or as a musician. Okay. Revenue ideas. Actually, let me do expenses. So expenses for digital artists, there's shipping costs when you have to take your art and make it physical. You have to ship it, and that costs money, and that eats up your whatever, your expense, your revenue, profit. And then there's software. So for digital artists, you kind of have to use software, and you have to pay for that software, and it's monthly. They don't do one-time payments anymore, and that's a little price to pay, but it's an expense that you're gonna have as an artist. And then for musicians, they have to buy the equipment, the guitars, the synthesizers, anything else, and then some musicians don't have the ability to like have a studio in their house or whatever. Most musicians, so they have to pay for the recording time at a studio. So that's another expense. And then there's revenue reducers, which is like the setup costs. Getting set up in the studio, or yeah, as an artist and as a musician, you have to like pay for all these fees, setting up your own e-commerce store. You have to pay for that. There's no free option. That's one. And then on the Ethereum blockchain, you have to buy Ethereum and pay for the gas transaction. And then for e-commerce, there's transaction fees on the internet. You can't avoid that 3% credit card charge, no matter how much I try. Yeah, okay. So revenue ideas. I think that artists make money from art galleries, just like musicians. And like an art gallery is the equivalent of a concert for a musician, and now you can't do that. So you need to do a virtual art gallery, right? And that way you can have an art gallery and people can see your art and buy it, right? So that's one idea, VR gallery. And then I had an idea to create a platform that allows two artists, no, like an artist, like a dating app for artists, right? So they could see their art and then collaborate with each other. And that way, the artists together can grow their audience. Because, like podcasting, when you interview someone or you go on someone else's podcast, you're growing your audience and making it more likely that they'll listen to your stuff. So that would be the artist equivalent. Yes. And then I thought of another idea, right? And this is a platform that allows people to fund an artist or pre-buy their art. So an artist talks about an idea they have on this platform, and then they auction off the idea, and that way they could people can pre-fund their idea, and then they go out and do the idea, and then they have a buyer immediately. And then I thought about a VR concert because I thought about a VR gallery, and that's basically the same thing, right? So that's another idea. And then I had all these ideas about blockchain. Not ideas, but I had thoughts. So what if artists were to put their music on the blockchain? I already saw some streaming services on the blockchain, but I thought, what if they just put the album on the blockchain, and then whoever buys the album can listen to it or do whatever they want with it. So I thought, would labels pay more for an album on the blockchain because it's exclusive to them and they could take it off, or they can download it and then sell it, and that might fetch a higher price per album? Or from the streaming services, they can make a deal with them, like maybe 3 cents a download, and that would be triple the price. Yeah. And then I thought, would the concerts, would they able to charge more per ticket because this is music that they haven't heard, like the masses, right? So would these people be willing to pay more for an album they haven't heard, or would they pay less? That's an idea, right? So revenue reducers, no, I already did that. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about musicians. Musicians, in terms of revenue reducers, they have to pay their management and their label. So for musicians, they have a bunch of middlemen. They have their management, which is people that like book their concerts. Then the label, which is the people that distribute their music. Then they have the concert venue. They have to pay them. Then they have the streaming service. It's a lot of middlemen. So yeah, that's our revenue reducer. So my opinion. First of all, what I think is that what makes digital art unique is you can do more than just paintings or one-dimensional art. You're able to use GIFs and motion pictures. You can even do, like short videos, mixed media. You can paint something, then have it uploaded, and then do some digital stuff with it, which I found very interesting. And then digital art, it opens up your market to the world instead of local people. So usually an artist in the, past. If they weren't famous, they would only have like the ability to sell their art locally or do concerts locally, and that was it. But with digital art, people can stumble onto your art, or you can promote yourself online and then find people that would be interested in your art and they would buy it. Another thing that digital art provides is independence from third parties. It gives you ownership. So for an artist, they can record their own stuff and they don't need a manager. They don't need a label. They can just upload it to YouTube themselves and people might find it, right? So then they take home more than they usually would in the traditional music industry. And then for digital artists on the blockchain, they can make money from the same art multiple times because they make 10% every time it's sold, and that's different from the past, as I said before. So I think that's cool. Right. Then I think the concept of owning art, digital art, is very new, and that might take a while for people to get used to that, and that this is the new way to buy art, right? Yeah. Also, the advantage of an artist is the vision and the process and where they want to take their art. Someone can always steal an idea, but they have no idea where to take that idea to the next level or how to do that. And that's why artists shouldn't worry about their art, people stealing their stuff, because that person doesn't know where to take it, right? And then artists need to take ownership of their fans and not rely on social media. So I see a lot of artists on social media, and that's how they promote it, and they don't have any way to communicate with their fans besides that. I think that's a mistake, right? And then middlemen. So middlemen, they have their value. They help the artist grow, because without a middleman, they have to grow their audience themselves, and that's another thing that they have to do that doesn't involve creating their stuff. So yeah, that's all I have for this episode. I'm definitely going to do another one on digital art. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.